Welcome to the Manasquan River Golf Club kitchen. Today we're going to work with the incredible egg. We're going to do poached eggs, a frittata, a rolled omelet, a French style scrambled egg, and also over easy eggs. For a poached egg, I have some water on the stove, just starting to get hot. We're going to drop some salt in it, put a decent amount of salt in it to have it seasoned. And then we're going to add about a tablespoon and a half of vinegar. This is apple cider vinegar. It helps set the protein of the egg. So that way, when you drop the egg in, it starts cooking and it holds up really nice. So our first item we're going to do is a frittata. So a lot of people, or myself included, if I'm home and I really don't feel like cooking a lot of different things, or I just go to the refrigerator and come up with something. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a frittata. We have some nice items right here. We have some onions. We have some potatoes, some bacon, some tomatoes. I'm going to make a little cracked egg. So we're going to do 3 eggs, and we're going to add a little bit of half and half to it. So we'll probably start with like a quarter cup of half and half. We're going to add some Parmesan cheese. That's to your liking. So the Parmesan cheese makes nice and rich flavor. Well, cracked pepper. A little tiny pinch of salt. The Parmesan cheese and the bacon is going to make it salty. Crack 3 eggs. In our pan, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil. Cook up the onions a little bit. And we're going to whisk up the eggs. You can use a fork. I have this little tiny whisk that I bought just for making eggs. It's kind of good because you can add some air to them, make it nice and fluffy. And also a little bit of cream in there. It's going to make the eggs almost souffle. You can put them in the oven. As you can see, they're nice and loose, nicely whipped. So we're add our onion to the pan. Let that cook a little bit. The potatoes are just lightly blanched, so I'll add those in as well. Move the poached egg right up here. Now we're going to add our eggs. About half of the eggs to the mixture here. We'll add in some tomatoes, some of the bacon, nice and roughly cut bacon. Then we'll add the rest of the egg right on top, so it covers it real nicely. Let it back on the stove for a couple of seconds. Rubber spatula around. Couple of taps. Make sure there's no bubbles. And we're going to go right into a 350-degree convection oven on high fan. And probably about 6 to 8 minutes. So poached eggs. The best way to do a poached egg is actually want to crack the egg into a small cup. It actually helps when you swirl the egg. There you go. Into the liquid. So we're going to turn this back up to a little bit stronger simmer. You can see it's simmering nicely. Use a slide spoon, and we're going to stir it to make a little whirlpool. You're going to drop it right in the middle of the whirlpool, and watch the egg wrap itself around. Do one more, nice and gently, right in the middle. Drop the egg right in, and it wraps itself around each other. Take about a minute and a half or two. You can also sous vide eggs at 144.5 degrees for about an hour, then chill them. And all you have to do is drop them in hot water, only for like 15 seconds, and they come out perfectly poached with a beautiful runny center. There you have them. Fresh poached eggs. So we're going to check on the frittata. And it's starting to see, you can see it's flaying up really nicely. So we're going to take it and we're going to give it a quick flip. That'll be just about ready. Here we're going right now next on the overheated eggs. There's some butter in the pan, starting to fall up a little bit. Not super hot, not a cold pan either. Make sure we crack them so they don't break. Okay. So with these, you want to flip them, let them cook for a good 30 seconds, and then flip them back over again to have them like sunny side up, the yolk up. So that's going to be the tricky part, the double flip. So let's see how good I am today. So we want to do a gentle flip. Let them cook just for a little bit. At this point, you can also put a little salt. Cracked pepper on that side. And here we go. A double flip. Oh, frittata's ready. As you can see, the frittata is nice and fluffy. We'll flip right onto a pan. That's dinner. Back to our over easy egg for the last flip. And there we go. Over easy egg. Beautiful, nice soft yolk. Next, we're going to do French-style scrambled eggs. So, being by French style, not only is it going to have eggs, but it's also cream. So we're going to do 2 eggs. Third of a cup, half and half. Works really well. Pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper. We're going to whisk these up really well. Try to incorporate some air again. About a tablespoon of butter. We're going to add our eggs. We'll let them set a little bit. Now we're going to start quickly swirling the eggs around. Because the idea is not to have them be set. They should look little curds. And the eggs are going to be nice and rich and a touch soft. As you can see, they're starting to build curds. This would be very classical in a French restaurant, to where they would add you had mushrooms and then shaved truffles at the end, some Gruyere cheese, just softly cooked egg. If you go to Danielle's in New York City, they do theirs with lobster and white truffles. And the eggs are served for about $65 for 2 eggs. There you have them. French style scrambled eggs. You see they're nice and loose and fluffy and soft. And for our last trick, we're going to do a regular omelet, which we're going to do a roll style omelet. So for this, we're going to have 3 eggs. A little bit of half and half. Give them a nice whisk. Again, incorporating the air inside that so nice and fluffy. It makes a really nice egg. If you don't beat the eggs enough, it doesn't make the omelet as fluffy, or well incorporated. A little pinch of salt inside at the end. Doesn't make the eggs rubbery. You put it at the end to help break the proteins down a little bit so you get a nice, beautiful omelet. Go into the pan. About a tablespoon's worth. So the pan we have on a medium to low heat. You don't want to get it too hot because you want to try to keep the omelet as pale as possible. 4 eggs in. At this point, you're just going to let it swirl around a little bit to build a nice bottom. And we're going to go nice and gently slow. The slower it cooks, the better it's going to look. Almost there. So we're using a non-stick pan for our eggs here. You can also use black steel. They work very well if you season them correctly. So they're non-stick. It makes it a lot easier when you're doing your eggs. You can also use a flat top griddle. The electric flat top grills, we have a few here we use when we do omelet stations for certain events. It makes it much easier. So the eggs are just about cooked. Now a classical French egg would be just about the point you bring it. For a French omelet, they want it to drool on the plate. Not everybody's into the soft omelet, so we're just going to get it to where just a little bit past that point. We're right just about now. So we're going to start rolling the omelet. Got a little bit of color on it. You can also put the eggs in and cover and let it sit for a few minutes. And that way you'll have your omelet to where you'll be really no color at all as well. Let it cook the rest of the eggs a touch. Before you roll it, you add in like ham, cheese, whatever else you might put inside. In order to make it a really nice style omelet. And there it is. That's our omelet. Thank you for joining us today at the Mass River Golf Club Kitchen. Hope you enjoy your eggs.